Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's not a holiday thing. It's a top 10 thing. Department of Trade Consumer Protection top 10 complaints of 2025 are here. That can mean only one person is here. It's not Michael. It's Michelle. I was going to say, it first starts with an M, but you both start with M's. Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, we both love being here, so thanks for having me.
I certainly love having you both here, and I love discussing this topic each and every year. And always some surprises, always some fascinating facts, and this year we even went a little above and beyond the top 10, which is kind of fun. She said it, not me, but I say it's fun anyways, because it's interesting to kind of peel back. First off, the numbers were up. So looking at it as a whole, the number of complaints coming in rose from 2024, which is pretty cool. Are you pretty excited about that? Or how does DATCP feel about seeing those numbers increase?
Well, I'm really just hopeful that that means there's awareness. We're here to help and enforce the consumer protection regulations in our state, and not a factor of more people had issues this year. They just knew where to turn.
Sure.
That's my hope. But yeah, it's always good to hear from consumers. Be sure that they are reporting their experiences to us so we can be sure that we are providing that information, following those trends, and again, enforcing those laws, and then doing what we can to mediate and find resolutions.
You do a wonderful job at all of this, and we want to kind of take a look now outside of the top 10. So you opened the door a little bit this year and shared some bonus stuff. So at 13, computer and consumer equipment, why is this important to even talk about?
Well, we always look at what's on the bubble of hitting the top 10, but we don't share it.
It's not the top 10.
We don't share it, but it's important to know some of these categories are things we've talked about over the year because they bounce in and out based on experiences. But one thing's with computer and computer equipment, you know, we are getting inundated with all those phishing scams and tech update scams, and you know, where do they fit? They fit in this category, same as telemarketing has all the scammers and fraudsters calling and texting us. So in this category, we're finding some of that. But the other important thing, 1,100 contacts to the hotline, only 103 complaints in writing, but 11 times that amount of people calling us and asking us questions about a situation before they responded or acted or found themselves in a negative situation. So that's great. We were able to help up front.
It's interesting that they would call, you know, get not write down the complaint, but call because XYZ. And another great service they have, by the way, of just calling and asking some questions. It's going to make you feel good, though, that they're reaching out. Again, it's a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is by the numbers. This isn't all the emotion that's behind all of this and the blood, sweat, and tears, if you will, of the employees and the team that's behind all of this work. But yeah, it feels great to know someone called before they did something. They did exactly what we want. Stop, pause, think, verify.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Other categories, entertainment and recreation and motor vehicle and accessory parts received 147 to 101 complaints, respectively. Interesting. I don't remember entertainment and recreation for a while, but you tell me differently. But what do you find in that category?
Yeah, it certainly was there during 2020, COVID, because people's tickets were being canceled, events were being canceled. What were the refund regulations? So it again pops in and out based on, is there some big venue where there's a weather disturbance and it gets canceled? And that's exactly the entertainment and recreation. People were active this year. It didn't hit the top 10. It's a pretty steady number at the 100, and so we always advise, be sure you're checking out those refund policies on tickets before you purchase them. Know what guarantees there are, and be sure you're buying from reliable sources, the venue or the event sponsor, rather than third parties.
It's, again, doing your homework, one thing to do that, but there's so many ways of getting those things, and then there's so many things that happen if they can't, or circumstance happens. And I feel like too, every single place now offers extra insurance, but it doesn't always cover if you really get into the weeds of that, it doesn't always cover anything. And we'll save that for another day.
And always read the details, know what it covers.
Right? All right, well, let's jump into the top 10, and jumping into the top 10, and again, here's one that I cannot recall being in the top 10 I don't know, maybe my lifetime, but I'm sure it has been. Major appliances at 158 complaints, but an interesting one.
It is an interesting one, and I think you're right. This is the first time it's in the top 10. I have a few extra years of experience at the agency than you on that, and I don't remember it being there either, so we've got some decades covered. So 158 complaints, major appliances. This crept up into the top 10 because of a bubble situation, if you will, my term for it, in that near the last quarter of the year, a company unexpectedly went out of business, leaving consumers who had made purchases concerned, questioning, not sure where to turn to, the hands up going, what do I do now? We're still working through that resolution for them and have been able to mediate some of it, but continue to watch the progress on that situation. But it created enough of a spike that it puts it in the top 10. Other things are the defective products, representations, refunds, honoring warranties and things, and that's a pretty steady issue.
All right. Very interesting. And work continues. So there you go. Travel, moving, well, actually it stayed the same from last year. I'm looking at last year's and this year at the same time. I had 219 complaints. Travel one is always interesting to me. We've talked about this in the last couple of years. Outside of COVID, more people wanted to go places. Who knew? But there's also that same factor of there's so many things when it comes to booking, to getting there, to are you actually getting the right thing, to problem. Oh my gosh, seems like it should be higher.
And this is a bundle, really, because we started to look at it as a thing in a whole, calling it travel, because it's the rental car, it's the airline flight, it's the hotel or the motel that you're staying at, it's the travel agency you're booking with. That's the experience that we encounter when we travel and have issues. So again, it's going to be cancellation policies, and if those are being honored, refunds and adjustments that you may have, representations as to what's all included or what's not included and what you have to pay for, and just plain billing disputes. I mean, it's the exchange of goods and services for money, so you're going to have a dispute on how much something's going to cost.
I feel like we talk like close to spring break as you head out. You give us some warnings. You go into the summertime. We talk a little bit about those vacation stuff and just being prepared, preparing yourself for that thing. But I bet you we'll see this come back up in the middle of the year as some education pieces. We'll get to that in a minute. At number 8, motor vehicle sales stayed at number 8 from last year at 380 complaints. What I find interesting in this is it's not strictly just about the you think like going to the car lot and doing something. These are even outside, some things outside of that.
Yeah, we have a great agency, a partner in the Wisconsin Department of Transportation that really protects consumers as it relates to that actual purchase of new and used vehicles. That's their area, but we partner in the concept of we're looking at the information disclosures, those mailers that you're receiving, especially if they're prize notice mailers, what representations, what enticements are before you, and are they following those regulations, and any just generalized, untrue, deceptive, misleading representation that they can make as it relates to getting you to the lot to take a look at things.
I don't. You wouldn't think of that always. I don't know. It's just. I'm glad you guys have her back. I'm just saying that's a little nice reassurance because there's a lot into buying that. That's a big asset for families and folks.
Right, and we had another component in this, and still do. It's quite old, and that's the old rust-proofing warranties. I mean,
that
you
still
go
exists?
You
What?
go back. Well, it still exists. It's just not sold. And if it comes up, well, there's regulations. If we start reverting back in time or technology there, so that's been a long-term partnership.
That's pretty cool. Next one at number 7 is motor vehicle repairs. Maybe I should have said 8 and 7. Didn't change either. 445 complaints on that though. From the previous year, it's more complaints. You're kind of going upwards. Interesting.
It went up over 100 complaints. I think 104,
complaints? Yeah.
104 to be precise here. So certainly. What's that experience? What are people encountering here? This is an area where we have some great consumer protection regulations in our state. They're long-standing. So I really encourage consumers to know what those are before they make their selection of where they're going to get their repair and before they take it in so they can help the process move along and assert those rights if they need to. But certainly we heard from consumers about charging above estimates, charging for services that weren't authorized or performed, as well as issues of honoring agreements, damage and loss of property, unsatisfied quality of work, that workmanship issue that comes in, and just delays in performing work or not performing it at all.
Yeesh. And I think, too, I mean, again, we want to protect those assets, too. People might be holding on to vehicles longer, too, depending what it is. So, you know, it does become kind of a crucial issue if you want to make, and we all want to make that thing last as long as possible. I mean, that's part of the deal.
Yeah, those repairs cost a lot more than they used to if you have a newer vehicle, and maybe even if you have an older vehicle, because parts may be harder to get, or finding the individuals who still know how to fix them. But then you also have the issue of just making sure that there's awareness of the process, because with newer cars, you're not taking them in as often. I mean, they're computers. They don't need the same kind of maintenance.
They need updates. They don't need
but they need a different kind of maintenance, and that comes further and further apart. So you're not building that relationship in the same way. Some may think that it's more interchangeable, and we're more transient in where we are. So you may not have that service guy you've gone to for 25 years now because you've moved 4 times since then.
Sad. Love that guy. Anywho, next one we move up to is medical services at number 6. And it was noted in here, one of the mediation efforts saved a consumer $85,000 on a medical procedure. We're not talking about small dollars here. No. You never know what you're dealing with, but that's a lot of money.
Very significant. And this complaint category stayed very steady from the previous year. Its slot, its complaint count. And this issue, medical services, is really done in conjunction with the Office of Commissioner of Insurance, because they'll handle the insurance part of things. There's no surprise billing on a federal level, but there's still procedures and issues that we pay out of pocket, that there needs to be representations on cost and price, and then those need to be honored. And that's where that complaint came in. Very significant change in price, I will say, for that consumer, that they experienced $85,000 as to what would be covered, what wouldn't, and what they had to pay. And so, yes, we were able to mediate that. This isn't about the doctor you pick and the procedure that they're selecting and that quality of care. It's really just about the representation and the money.
We're going to take a quick break, continuing our top 10 discussion with Department of Ag Trade Consumer Protection right after this.